So hopefully I'm live now. I'm still getting used to this OBS studio. Let's see if we can chat. I'm going to say hello and good morning. All right. So it looks like it's working. I hope so, because last time a very frequent visitor, Cindy, couldn't go back and forth. So I hope we can this time. But meanwhile, I have been trying to create now you can see how small it is from here, the head of the reindeer, and it will go on, and I'll show you close up now. Let's see, we're going to go close up from this point forward, so you can watch me continue to work on this little clay head. And of course, the other head has not started yet, so that's following this one. It's a little short-faced, as you can see right now. Almost looks more like a donkey. But this is getting pretty good. I mean, it's not, when I say good, I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to create a reindeer face. Let's see if I can put it toward you. That really does look like a reindeer. And I have some different views, side views, and later today, and I've said I was going to do this, I got so busy, but I'm going to put up the link to that video. So I did screenshots from a video to get these images. So what I want to do today, and this will happen to you, this is very hard clay at room temperature, but it starts to get soft when you handle it a lot. So what happened was, and this is so typical of the process, the ear broke off. I had to repair that. And now that it's cool, I'm going to show you the kind of tools I use to work on a head. Let me turn it so you can see it. That's that small. Let me put it on the side. You can kind of see how I've done it. So I have these two Riffler tools that I use here. Here's the other one. And I'm going to show them closely. These are tools that jewelers use, and you can get, whoops. Hi, Cindy. Good morning. There's Cindy. I'm glad to see you. I was going to show that these tools here, and I want to make sure you can really see them. I'm going to get used to my new camera view close up. These have little tiny cuts on the edge. Let me see how close I can show you this. And you know what? They don't take too much clay off at one time. That's the value. Now, if you want to clean them, I have been using recently Terpenoid Natural, which is non-toxic, and I have a paper towel here, and it cleans off the tools really nicely, but it also helps clean the brush. And then I use a brush, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Here's another Riffler tool. Hopefully the camera can get focused on that. I don't know if it's focusing on that. But anyway, it has tiny little, almost microscopic cuts. And I'm going to clean that off too a little bit. And what these do, when you get to a head that's that small, you don't want to take too much clay off at any given time, because then it just ruins it. And it's really hard to line everything up. You want to line everything up, and you want to keep looking at it. It's a little hard in this lighting for you to see. But when I'm working on this by myself, what I'm going to do is I continually turn it, just like you're seeing me do now, actually. And when I see something, I try to, eye it up, and then I take off areas that are too much on that side. And if I want to put on more, what I do is, and I don't have some softened clay this morning, unfortunately, I took time to get out here, but if I would use softer clay, for example, and I would press it onto my board, this is okay to use, it's somewhat soft, take a little bit like this on this pad tool and just add very, very carefully. And you have to be careful not to go too fast, because you can get your vision sort of distorted as you're working on something so darn small like this. You're trying to get a realistic face, but this is, about 1.5 inches maybe in length. So you're trying to get a realism or I am, on something this small. You have to almost take yourself in as if you're microscoping yourself down. I don't know how to say it, but get in there and just really be careful, because every move you make changes the proportions, changes the geometry. And so like this can be used just to even just smooth the face. So if I wanted to just smooth, it hardly takes anything off. Let me go close up, see if I can get that image where you can really see what I'm doing here. So if I wanted to just smooth that down, look how that just very carefully takes out a little bit, a little bit. If this face starts to get soft, I recommend you put it down and do something, work on something else. Let it get hard again, because once you have that level of detail, it is so easy to mess it up. Now, it's going to be hard for you to see everything I'm seeing. Let me change my light. When I'm working by myself, I have a light that I use overhead, and that allows me to hold the face right like this. Let me switch to the other camera view, and I'm going to explain this. So I have a light here that I use. I love this light. This is so old. I'm not even going to tell you how old this is. But it's 2 fluorescent bulbs that go like that. And so I hold this face just like this while I'm working on it. If you can see that, I'm holding it just like this. And then I turn it. I turn it as I'm working. And I just very carefully eye it up and shave off tiny little bits at a time. You've got to do it like that, and then move away again and look at it again. And the other trick is to take it in the bathroom or whatever and look at it in the mirror. Because if you look at, hi Mark, good morning. If you look at this in the mirror, and let me switch the view real quickly here. I wish I could just say view switch. I'm sure there's a way to do that. So let me switch to the other view. Okay, so if I'm looking at that in the mirror, let's see if I can get a real good angle on it for you where it's clear. I'm able to see, okay, that's not too bad. You're not seeing the equal lighting like I see, because I don't have that quite set up for you to see. But if you're looking in the mirror, you'll be able to see if an eye is back here and one eye's up there. You don't want that. And you can draw lines. In the last video, I drew lines, and you can draw a line this way too. I mean, I'm not measuring this like I do the other projects because it's so small. It's really, really hard to worry about measuring something that's that small. So the other major trick, and I have my Riffler tools, and I also have this tiny, let's see if it will close up on that and get that in focus. I don't know why it's not focusing on that. I wish it would. Anyway, let me bring it back. This is a tiny pad surface. This is a homemade tool. We used a grinder and a dental tool. And what this does is this will pick up little tiny pieces of clay. Let me see if that will go into focus. Oh, already I need a better camera, guys. And then this will take, like if you're doing the eye, let me see if I can do this in front of you. There's a little space there. It could use a little bit of clay. I mean, we're talking about a micro amount of clay, but it helps to fill in a gap I had there, so I use to do those little figurine faces that I did for Franklin Mint. When you're getting down to it and they're little tiny faces, you're using a tool like this. And then finally, I want to show you, I showed you the brush to do fur on the bigger animal pieces, but now I'm going to show you a new idea. Okay, so this brush, let me put it where you can see it, is pretty small. I like these flat, small brushes like this, or one that has sort of a more tapered shape is good. But now you're going to get that medium off the brush. Don't let alcohol or terpenoid natural be much left on that brush. And now take your relatively dry brush on something so small, and now just soften. And you would be amazed how much softening you can do. Let me see if I can get a really good lighting here for you, where I can get it close. Yeah, I got a $50-some camera. I think I need $100-some camera now. Oh my gosh, because I need you guys to be able to see my tiny little work. But what I'm going to do is just ever so carefully brush that. See that? I'm just brushing it smooth. And that, let me bring it down here where you can really see. That is so much better than anything you could do with a tool. And be patient. Don't go too fast. If you get mad, go fast, you will not be happy. You will not be happy. So go slow. Step back from it. I'm going to just smooth that little area there. Don't pull on the brush too hard because it will, see how soft that form is? A lot of your forms are very soft, very subtle. And also I was looking under here. I was going to use it right under that chin area. It just takes out all kinds of little distractions, I guess is the best way to put it. Visual distractions in the form of, I would say, just mistakes or, places that aren't quite blended in yet. There's another eye area that has an issue. So I'll go and I'll take some clay. And I usually now this is pretty hard already. Let me put some softer clay now. It should be softer. I got distracted this morning and I didn't warm my clay up in time. This one's a little warmer. So as I work, I like to stick this clay. I'm getting it mushed together here. It's pretty nice and warm. It's like maybe 100 degrees, so it feels okay. And I'm going to stick that clay into the board like that. And I'm just going to take little pieces. Oh, but what I want to do is use my tiny tool. Let's get these out of the way so you can see better. Put this over here. Get all my tools out. All right, so now you can see a little better. So there's a gap in that little eye area. So I'm going to take my tiny tool and just pad that in there. And you know what's amazing? When you're starting to work at this tiny kind of level, it's almost as you zoom yourself in, and suddenly you can see it as if it's big. It's strange how that works. You might think, oh, that's crazy. But you go right into it as if you're the same size. And then I take my brush and just soften that up. Now notice how I didn't dip my brush. It's almost like at this size, you're going to use your brush as if it's just something to smooth. You're not going to try to dissolve the clay in any way at all. Just soften those areas. And I can go around that eye. The eye is a little bit bulgy right now, and all the forms that would be around it are not necessarily there yet. But same with the inner ear. I have kind of a choppy area there. And if the brush isn't enough, I'll go and I'll use my Riffler tool, which takes off very little. Hi, Frank and Jackie. Thank you. I know the detail is where it really starts to be. It's challenging and it can drive you crazy, but it's so satisfying in the end to see something that has the detail that doesn't always, it's not always present in so many figurines. And I'm just very gently going over that ear, and a little bit with your fingers. If you go over with your fingers, go very, very carefully, very slowly. And, oh, there's my timer. But anyway, we'll continue with this. I'm going to start on the other head and try to get this piece all completed before Christmas. That's my goal. All right. So I'll put that back over here, my reindeer head. All righty. So I'm going to say goodbye today, but if you have any questions later that you can think of, please feel free to answer, and let me say goodbye properly here. Still getting used to everything. This camera, that camera. So I will see you on Wednesday morning. Thank you so much for coming here and watching. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.